Dynasty Demons and Fantasy Freaks, welcome to the ZFG NFL Week 5 Reaction Show. Tuning in. Let's get right down to it. Listen, big news going on right now. John Gruden, I'm sure you've all seen this. John Gruden, he said some crazy stuff. No bueno, especially when you maybe say bad words about your commissioner. Maybe that's not good. You know, sometimes you can get away with saying other things, but you talk bad about your commissioner, not going to work so well. John Gruden, you know, I can't condone anything you've done, my man. I can't. It's kind of gross. The whole thing's just kind of gross. But see you later. Sayonara. You're gone. However, I will not be applying for the job. No, I will not. As I definitely do not need the commissioner going through text messages I sent at college. It's probably not in my interest. Probably not in the Raiders' interest either. But that said, let's go ahead and move on here. We got a lot to cover today. We're going over the games, how it affects you in your fantasy, in your dynasties, and your card purchases and sales. We're going to break down everything. So why don't we get into the big news that's going to change everything this week? Let's go ahead and jump straight into those injuries. We're going to start with Joe Burrow. Man, he got rocked. Looked like some CTE, but he did return. Not sure how he returned because it looked pretty gross. But he returns and somehow finishes the game, and along the way found out that his throat was cut. Contusion, a bruise, whatever. You know, it sounds more dramatic than when I say it that way. He was transported to the hospital, but apparently it all worked out all right. I was told he was released the next day. Or that night, whatever it is, he got released. He's fine. His throat's not slit. He's good to go. He can take another beating this week. Saquon Barkley, not going to take a beating this week because once again, tragedy strikes. Saquon Barkley has a nasty ankle sprain. It looked gross. I'm sure a lot of you saw it. If you haven't saw it, and you're kind of messed up like me, go ahead, Google it. You'll see his ankle. Pretty gross. Looked more like a grapefruit. Anyway, he was on boot. He was in a boot. He wasn't on them. He was in them, in a boot, and on crutches. I guess that's what they get. You're on them. You're on the crutches after the game. And, I don't expect to see him for a bit. Luckily, it was a low ankle sprain, not a high ankle sprain. But, he's not going to be playing this week at least. I'd be shocked to see him the week after. We'll find out. I mean, Saquon is a beast. Daniel Jones, he got rocked. He got rocked. Looked like CTE. And it very possibly was. Because he started to walk after getting hit and fell down. It looked like he was coming out of a bar on a bender. But yeah, it was bad optics all the way around. He's definitely out. So here you're already looking at the Giants without their star running back. And now you're looking at them like, now they might be without their starting quarterback. At least they got Kenny Golladay. Wrong. Kenny Golladay ruled out. He's got a knee issue. They're saying it's not serious. Either way, doesn't look like he's playing this week either. So what you have here is a situation where, you got a bad situation. We'll just start there. But with Barkley out, that gives you you can pivot to Devontae Booker. You could do that. In fact, he'd be a big waiver wire grab for me this week. Top of the waiver wire, right up there, first or second probably. Because, he can do everything. He's a three-down back. He's not great at anything, but he's serviceable at everything. And, they don't got much else going on there in New York, so he's going to get the ball. He's going to get some opportunities. Daniel Jones, we'll see how bad this concussion is. Didn't look good. Anytime you're carted into the locker room because you can't walk, it's a pretty bad sign. Hopefully he knows how to eat by this time. Laugh. I've been there, so I can say some screwed up stuff like this. Anyway, Yeah, so that means Mike Glennon, or the longest neck in the league, if you will. If you don't know, Google Mike Glennon's neck. It's frightening, absolutely frightening. But yeah, he's going to go ahead and stick his neck out there, see how he does. And Kenny Golladay, old Kenny G, smooth Kenny G, with him being out. You see Kadarius Toney, boy, that guy looked flashy, he looked great. He also looked really stupid. So, he lucky he didn't get suspended. He accidentally headbutted his coach earlier in the game. Then he goes out there and throws a punch when there's no need. This kid, they said he was a head case in college, and apparently it's true. But either way, he's what they got. He's the psycho they got. Roll with him. A great pickup. Go ahead and pick him up. In Dynasty, also good pickup. He's got talent. He needs to mature, but he's got talent. So those two of my top 3 waiver wire pickups this week, Devontae Booker and, Kadarius Toney. Moving on to something that was totally gross. Max Crosby, tight end Max Crosby. Yeah, he had his knee dislodged from his body and was immediately carted off. Again, bad optics on that one. I'd go ahead and expect him to miss the season. You want to know why? Because he's going to miss the season. Sucks, man. He's playing great. He was a great tight end option. A lot of us got him for cheap, for free. It is no more. I would tell you to pivot somewhere, but I don't know that there's a place to pivot. Rondale Moore's probably going to get more snaps, more looks, and he's earned it. So if you were going to grab somebody off the waiver wire, I would go ahead and look at Rondale Moore. And now might be a good time if you're the investing type. Buy Rondale Moore rookie cards. They're not expensive, one, and they'll probably double here pretty quick. Big Rondale Moore fan. All right. Taysom Hill, well, he took a nasty hit to the head, too, and concussion. He got a little CTE. No Taysom Hill. It's all on Jameis. All on Jameis. That's going to be a circus. Really nowhere to pivot. Nothing to talk about other than we're going to get a lot of Jameis. Quintez Cephas. He left with a shoulder injury, and it does not look good. This looks like it could be season-ending shoulder injury. Now would be the time to invest in Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's looked real solid. Good route runner. Just a solid all-around kid. Nothing spectacular, but again, if he's your main option, it's pretty, where do you go wrong there? Pick up Amon-Ra St. Brown. If you could trade for him in Dynasty, now would be the last-minute time you could do it if the owner is sleeping, but it's probably too late there. Damien Harris, running back for the Patriots. He hurt his heart when he fumbled that ball on the goal line, but he also hurt his ribs in that game as well. It looks like he's going to go ahead and play. We'll see what kind of leash he's on with Darth Belichick. We'll find out there. I'm hesitant. I'm actually pulling him out of my starting lineups this week. I like Damien Harris, but, man, it's been a rocky couple of weeks, and being injured and on a short leash, it's too much for me. I would look elsewhere. Russell Wilson, if you haven't seen the news on that, he's out 4 to 8 weeks, it looks like, with a finger issue that required surgery, and I guess they got pins in there. Sounds bad. Geno Smith looked pretty good in the minutes he had to go in there. He actually looked really good. So, Geno Smith is never, ever, ever going to be Russell Wilson, but perhaps he'll be serviceable. In a Superflex league, I'd grab him right meow. Because you need all the quarterbacks you can get in Superflex leagues. Obviously, he's got some weapons around him. I'd go ahead and grab him. Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Boy, this injury list is long. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, MCL sprain. It looked pretty bad. They got pretty lucky. Looks like he's going to go on IR and probably miss 3 weeks. But now it's time to get Daryl Williams. If he's out there, he's my number one pickup for the week right there. Daryl Williams. CEH had back-to-back 100-yard games. I don't know why that would necessarily change. If anything, the Chiefs might need to rely on their running game a little bit more than they have. So I kind of like the Daryl Williams pickup. Yeah, Jerick McKinnon's going to get some work, but the most of it's going to go to Daryl Williams, and he has always called. He's always stepped up when called upon. So go with it. Pick him up. Make a trade for him. If you're in a bad spot and you're a contender and maybe you were the owner of Clyde Edwards-Helaire, now would be the time to make a little move to get you some Daryl Williams. If he's not on the waiver wire. If he's on the waiver wire, snag him up immediately. Juju Smith-Schuster will have shoulder surgery and miss the rest of the season. Sad news there for old Juju. So Deontay Johnson and Chase Claypool, stocks way up. Way up. Grab them. Grab them while you can. If you can trade for them, not a bad idea. Card-wise, yeah, both of them out there. Neither one's too expensive. I think you can get Deontay on the cheap. Grab them because you can probably flip, make a nice 50% or so pretty quick. All it takes is 1 week. And then we got Gronk. Yeah, Gronk smash. Gronk's still out. Gronk will not play Thursday. He's got broken ribs and a punctured lung. The fact that they were even talking about him playing this Thursday, just ridiculous to me. But nevertheless, they thought he might. He's not going to. Thank God that's the right call. Especially thanking of God right now. It's time. It's time to go to church, mother. Oh, there's a wrong button. Mother. Yeah, hallelujah. You know what that means? We're going to go over the games. We're going over the games right about now. Let's start with London. We're going to go to London where the Jets took on the Falcons. The Jets can't win in New York, and guess what? They can't win in London either. They lose this game 20-7. Rookie Zack Wilson, he got you 192 yards and a pick. Hasn't exactly looked great. However, I'm actually a big believer in Zack Wilson. If you're out there, you want to make some money, his cards have come down quite a bit. And I think you can get his Dawn Rush rated rookie right now for like $10. You can double that money here at some point in time this season. Zack Wilson's got a lot of talents, and I'm all about doubling my money. So bang, bang, bang. I've been hitting buy. And same thing goes for Dynasty. If you can trade for Zack Wilson, if the owner that drafted him is like, trade for him, get him on the cheap. He's going to be good. Robert Saleh's, I think he's a pretty good coach, but, the cupboard's kind of bare. They need line help. They really do, but give it time. Just give it time. Corey Davis in this game, 7 targets, only 45 yards. Jamison Crowder showed up, 6 targets, 24 yards. Yeah, not great. Again, they don't got much to work with. Denzel Mims got 3 targets for 33 yards. Good to see him getting mixed in. They need a guy like Mims out there. I just don't see it happening. Well, again, I'm not putting anything into it, but it's a name to know. Rookie Michael Carter, 10 carries, 38 yards, and a touchdown, 3 targets and 20 yards receiving. All right, I like Michael Carter, and I think it's starting to get better. Again, if he had a line, maybe it'd be a lot better. But again, be patient. Now let's go to the other side of things here to the Falcons. Matt Ryan, 343 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's cool. Good for Matt Ryan. Making some history there, moving up the old yardage chart. Can't remember exactly where he's at, but he's way up there. Good for him. Let's go to Calvin Ridley. Yeah, didn't play this game. So Matt Ryan actually played better without Calvin Ridley. 343 yards and 2 touchdowns. Calvin Ridley decided that he wasn't playing this week because of personal reasons. Now, I hope it wasn't anything too serious. I think maybe that personal reason might have been, I don't know. I don't want to fly to London during a pandemic. Maybe that was it. Maybe that was the personal decision. I don't know. Maybe he's got something against redcoats. Either way, Calvin Ridley didn't play. Guess who stepped up? Kyle Pitts. 10 targets, 119 yards, and a touchdown. And I still don't get it. I mean, this kid played out of his mind. And people still aren't getting jazzed up about it. I don't know. Cordero Patterson had himself another good game. He had 9 targets, 60 yards, 14 carries, 54 yards. This guy's a 5-tool player. He literally, that's what he is. Whatever you need, he can do. Doesn't matter. 5-tool player. Now, let's talk about a 1-tool player. In fact, maybe a 1-tool player that it's a 1 rusty tool. Like you got to go out there and you got to mow the lawn, but the mower's dragged down and all you got is this fucking sickle. You got a rusty old sickle, but hey, it'll chop it down. Yeah. I don't know where I'm going with this, but I'm talking about Mike Davis. Mike Davis, the 1 rusty tool player, 13 carries, 53 yards, and a touchdown, 5 targets, 8 yards. You know, whatever. It's better than nothing. It's better than nothing. Mike Davis. Okay, I'm kind of getting fired up here. A little rant alert. You know, I got to go back to Kyle Pitts. You know, I'm sick and tired of people saying they expected more from Kyle Pitts. Are you not entertained? This kid is destroying it. Tight ends do not walk into the league and play like this. In fact, let me get real serious with you. As of now, he has more yards in his first 5 games than any rookie tight end since 1950. He's on pace to be the second tight end ever to get 1,000 yards in a season. Second to Mike Ditka. Okay? That's it. It would be Mike Ditka and Kyle Pitts. That's it. So everybody, it's so hard to get a tight end, an impact tight end in this league. And if you drafted Kyle Pitts, congratulations. You got one. I don't know why everybody else isn't jumping up and down and shitting rainbows on this. But they're not. They're sleeping. You want to make some money? Go buy his cards. Get them cheap. They'll go to the moon. Going to the moon! Kyle Pitts. All right. Let's move on. Lions and Vikings. Lions, they lost another heartbreaker. Lose this one 17-19. Oh. Jared Goff out there, 21 for 35, 203 yards and a pick. Still had a chance to win even with that stat line. Like I told you, with all the injuries, Amon-Ra St. Brown really stepped up, 8 targets, 65 yards. I'll take that. And I think he's going to get that on a week-to-week basis now. He's going to get the targets. The frustrating situation here, Jamal Williams, 13 carries, 57 yards, 2 targets, 8 yards. DeAndre Swift, the much better back, 11 carries, 51 yards, 6 targets, 53 yards. Swift is the all-around back. I don't know why we're still fiddle-farting around here with Jamal Williams, but we are. And we're probably going to continue to do so, but you hope to see DeAndre Swift get a little bit more each week. A little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. Kirk Cousins, on the other side of things, 25 for 34, 275 yards, 1 tutty, 1 picky. Justin Jefferson, 8 targets, 124 yards. Had 100 yards in the first half. Then they figured out how to slow him down. Adam hooked on a Thielen, 3 targets, 40 yards. Disappointing game for him, but hell, most of this game was disappointing for all of us. Unless you owned Alexander Madison. Now, we had no head cook, Dalvin, so they turned to the sous chef, Alexander Madison. And what'd he do? 25 carries, 113 yards. Also had 7 targets, 40 yards receiving, and a touchdown there. It's all about the sauce, and the sauce is pretty good. Alexander Madison, hope you had him on your bench because that kid can get it done for a little bit. Wouldn't want to do it for half a season, but here and there is spot work, and we all know that Dalvin Cook is, susceptible to injuries. If you own Dalvin Cook and you don't own Alexander Madison, you're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. Fix that right now. Moving on, Saints and Washington football team. Saints win this one 33-22. Jameis Winston was very, very Jameis Winston. 15 for 30, 274 yards, 4 touchdowns, and a pick. And let me tell you what, those touchdowns, man, they weren't pretty. It was like closing his eyes and throwing it up. James Winston. Yep, he was really porking it in the putty at the time. Porking it in the putty. All right, Marquez Callaway was his favorite guy to go to. 8 targets, 85 yards, 2 touchdowns, complete circus. I don't expect this. It was fun. It's been fun. Alvin Kamara, 16 carries, 71 yards and a touchdown. 8 targets, 51 yards and a touchdown. Amazing what happens when you throw him the ball, unlike the week prior where he didn't get a single target. Somebody must have talked to Jameis like, yo, that's not how we do this, bro. Thank God, Alvin Kamara back on track. On the Washington football team side of things, Taylor Heineke, 20 for 41, 248 yards, 2 picks. Not his best game. He did target Terry McLaurin 11 times. It turned into 46 yards. I love Scary Terry, but this team's getting scarier by the minute. Now, they get the Chiefs this upcoming week, so maybe that's a recipe for offensive success. God, I hope not, but it might be. Antonio Gibson, 20 carries, 60 yards, 2 touchdowns. Also had 2 targets for 12 yards. You're doing it wrong. You got to throw him the ball. Throw him the ball. Open things up. Antonio Gibson, man, really like that kid. Don't give up on any of these players. Patriots at Texans. Boy, this was a wild one here. 25-22, Patriots win. Mac Jones. Boy, his kid's looking good. 23 for 30, 230 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, including that game-winning drive to set him up. Hunter Henry, 8 targets, 75 yards, and a touchdown. That was his go-to guy right there. I mean, Hunter Henry getting a third of the targets? All right. Damien Harris, 14 carries, 58 yards, and a touchdown, but he should have had 2 touchdowns. The goal line fumble kind of ruined the day. Let's see where this goes. Again, I don't want to play any Patriots players unless I absolutely have to right now. They're well coached and they're going to do what they have to do to win ball games, but it ain't going to be sexy. Somebody who somehow was sexy and a rookie against Darth Belichick was Davis Mills. 21 for 29, 312 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. What the? How? I would have put money on this. In fact, I did put money on this. Davis Mills did pretty good. I don't know where to take this. I honestly don't. I'm not a believer. Chris Moore. Do you believe in Chris Moore? Because he had 109 yards and a touchdown. Yeah, take that with a chunk of salt. No, I'm not buying it. Brandon Cooks, 5 targets, 23 yards. You'd have thought if they were in this game, it must be Brandon Cooks, their one offensive player, doing the work. Wrong, no work. Of course, Darth Belichick's going to take him away, and he did. And somehow the Texans still performed. Wasn't because of Mark Ingram's old ass, 16 carries, 41 yards. On a dynasty, if you're a contender, stash him down on your bench in case of emergency. That's about all he's worth. Dolphins at Buccaneers. Dolphins win this one 45-17. Wrong. Buccaneers win this one 45-17. Anybody catch that? Hit me down in the comments. Be like, what the fuck is he talking about? Yeah, Buccaneers whoop some ass here. When you see these stat lines, some of this is unbelievable. Jacoby Brissett, 27 for 39, 275 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. Now, that's totally believable. Myles Gaskin somehow only got 5 carries for 25 yards. It's a pretty decent average. But he got 10 targets for 74 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's out there looking like Alvin freaking Kamara. It's wonderful. Wonderful. But you probably gave up on him already and you didn't start him because he'd been terrible. I don't know how many people actually had him in their lineup. Mike Gesicki, 7 targets, 43 yards. That's fine for a tight end. Rookie Jalen Waddle, 6 targets, 31 yards. Yeah, all right, we still haven't seen it from Waddle. Of course, he hasn't really had any quarterback play, so, let's chill out there on Jalen Waddle hate. Tom Brady. 30 for 41, 411 yards, 5 touchdowns, and maybe the most insane part of this, he had like a 13-yard run. That might as well be 60 yards. It's insane. Couldn't believe it. Old Tommy Boy just took off. Yeah, but no, seriously, 411 yards and 5 touchdowns. Believe it or not, this is the first time in his career that he's thrown for 400 yards and 5 touchdowns in the same game. Seriously. Who would have known? More crazy Brady stats. Tom Brady completed 7 of 11 passes and 4 touchdowns under pressure. The only other player to perform that well under a pressure pass rush since 2016, Jameis Winston. Jameis, he's not performing well under pressure. He's just like, oh, time to close the old eyes and heave-ho. Somehow the magic works. Yeah, there you go. Tom Brady doing things he's never done before and tying Jameis Winston records. I give up. On a day where there were, 22 field goals missed, 12 of them being extra points. It was an insane week. It was a lot of fun. Chris Godwin, 11 targets, 70 yards. Mike Evans, 8 targets, 113 yards, 2 touchdowns. Antonio Brown, 8 targets, 124 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, it basically all 3 beasts got to eat. It worked out for all three this time. Don't expect that on a week-to-week basis. But yeah, two of the three is going to eat every week. Leonard Fournette, 12 carries, 67 yards, and a touchdown. 5 targets, 43 yards. Lombardi Lenny, cheers to you, my friend. Looking good. We'll see if he can do it for a whole year. Packers at Bengals. Boy, this was, speaking of wild shit, this one certainly was. Packers pulled out in overtime, 25-22. Again, this is the game where Joe Burrow got a throat contusion. I almost stopped there. I almost said something. Anyway, Joe Burrow was 26 for 38, 281 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Yep. Joe Mixon, injured Joe Mixon, still got in there for 10 carries, 33 yards, and a touchdown. Samaje Perine helped out with 11 carries, 59 yards. Also had 24 yards receiving and a touchdown. Perine, hats off to you. Good job stepping up in there and doing a good job, but Mixon ought to be good to go from here on. We got Jamar Chase, the rookie Jamar Chase. Dude's out of his mind here. 10 targets, 159 yards, a touchdown. He almost had another 50-yard touchdown that was actually called back. But, yeah, this guy's looking to break all of Justin Jefferson's records. Crazy. Absolutely craziness. Now let's go on to the Packers side of things where Aaron Rodgers was 27 for 39, 344 yards, 2 touchdowns, a pick. Davante Adams had 16 targets, 206 yards, and a touchdown. I mean, he's just going to throw. He's going to throw to who he trusts. He trusts Davante Adams. I don't trust any other wide receiver on this team in fantasy, dynasty, you name it. It doesn't matter. I don't trust him. We do a trust fall. Hell no, not with those guys. I ain't doing it. Nope. No. A.J. Dillon got in there for 8 carries, 30 yards, and also got 4 targets for 49 yards and a touchdown. Aaron Jones also had a good game, 14 carries, 103 yards, 5 targets, 6 yards. I mean, yeah, it was great. Now, what wasn't great was the kicking stats. Okay? This is the first game since 1991 where more than 3 field goals were missed in the entire fourth quarter and overtime. Okay? This is the first time since 1991 that's happened. Well, it's even crazier than that because in this game, they missed 5 kicks in the final 3 minutes in overtime. 5 in 3 minutes. Fucking kickers. Enough with the kicker BS. It's crazy. Broncos and Steelers. There's another thriller. All these games were thrillers. Broncos, they really tried there, but they came up short. Lose this one 19-27. Teddy B did all right. 288 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. Cortland Sutton, he's back. That was his main man. 11 targets, 120 yards, and a touchdown. Tim Patrick, here's a sneaky one to add here. Tim Patrick, 9 targets, 89 yards. The dude's a pro. He's never been flashy, but when called upon, he always performs. If he's on your waiver wire, you need some help, or you're in one of those crazy leagues, like I'm in a few where there's like a million flexes, Tim Patrick's a guy. He's a guy you can trust. And he's being thrown in there with Jerry Jeudy being out and KJ Hamler being out. Tim Patrick is going to be a dude the whole year. Get him, you can trust him. I mean, he's not a guy that's going to like blow up for 150 yards and 3 touchdowns or anything like that. But he's steady Eddie. I like it. Melvin Gordon, he's steadily declining. 9 carries, 34 yards, 2 targets, 9. The youngster breathing down his back there is Javonte Williams. 8 carries, 61 yards, and 25 yards receiving. It's about time that this went ahead and moved on to Javonte Williams' backfield. That day's coming. If you're a Melvin Gordon owner, it might be over. It might be over. Big Ben. Let's talk about Big Ben. 15 for 25, 253 yards, 2 touchdowns. Respectable stat line. But he's old, slow, he's injured constantly. Now he's got a hip injury and a hand injury and a pec injury. Yeah, I mean, every time he's out there, like every throw, it looks like he's in pain. And he's just willing himself through it. And every time he moves his feet, it's like he's walking in quicksand. It's like, oh my God, it doesn't look good. He's still somehow getting it done. I don't see how he can do it more than this year. I've said that about Big Ben for 3 straight years. But Juju went down in this game, so now it's really all about Chase Claypool and Deontay Johnson. James Washington is a guy you might want to go out there and grab because James Washington has proven himself. When he's given the chance, he has performed. And you can probably get him for nothing, dirt cheap, free. So watch for that in the next coming weeks. Chase Claypool in this game, 6 targets, 130 yards and a touchdown. Deontay Johnson, 2 targets, 72 yards and a touchdown. He looked explosive. I mean, Deontay Johnson looks like, man, if Big Ben still had a big arm, that dude would be a superstar. Instead, we got both Claypool and Johnson being like, these guys are pretty good. Wonder how good they could be if they had a dude with a rocket for an arm, which Big Ben used to. But he makes it happen, but I don't bank on it to last much longer. Moving on, Eagles at Panthers. This game was wild. Maybe not in the best way, but let's talk about the Panthers here. Sam Darnold finally had a bad game as a Panther. 21 for 37, 177 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 picks. 3. Get the Trinity. DJ Moore, 7 targets, 42 yards. Man, you know who played really well in this game? Was Chuba Hubbard. Played better than he did in college for last year or whenever. He hadn't played this one in a long time. 24 carries, 101 yards, 6 targets, 33. And I think it's pretty legit. However, I also think CMC's just about to come back. But with CMC's injury history, I think Chuba Hubbard's a guy you want on your bench, especially if you own Christian McCaffrey. I would try to make sure Chuba Hubbard is on my bench because he can play, and he's probably going to have to play more. On the Eagles side of things, again, it wasn't pretty, but, they got it to work. Jalen Hurts, 22 for 37, 198 yards, 1 pick. But he rushed for 2 touchdowns and 30 yards. That counts a lot. Boy, look how crooked my finger is here on YouTube. Look at that. Wow. I'm shaking my crooked finger. Dallas Goedert, 3 targets, 28 yards, dropped an easy touchdown. Sad to see. And then somehow, after the game, got COVID. Makes me worried about the guys that were around him during the game. Because it was pretty much right after the game, they were like, oh, by the way, you got COVID. So, doesn't look like he's going to play this week. Devontae Smith, that's a good youngster, man. He's really good. 8 targets, 77 yards. Really like this kid a lot. I would invest in him in every way, shape, and form possible. Get your hands on him while you can. Let's go to Titans, Jaguars. The Jaguars are just, they're a shit show. I mean, it's really not their fault. Urban Meyer, Urban Decay, as I've been calling him. Oh, boy. Titans crush him on this game, 37-19. Ryan Tannehill, 14 for 22, 197 yards and a touchdown. But he's still taking a beating. He took a beating in this game. And if the Jaguars were giving it to you, man, I'm super worried about his health long term. I guess just make it through the year. I don't know. We'll see. A.J. Brown, welcome back. 6 targets, 38 yards. Womp, womp, womp. Hope he didn't play him. Maybe this week he's better. I don't think he's fully healthy. But Derrick Henry, the beast, 29 carries, 130 yards, 3 touchdowns. Like he's on pace to break the rushing record. The guy's an absolute monster. And for some reason, if you're looking for a way to make some money, for some reason, over the last 3 months, his card prices have been coming down quite a bit. It's juicy. And if the dude breaks the rushing record this year, they're going to go whoop, straight up to the moon. So I would be jumping on it. I would definitely be buying some Derrick Henry. He's tough to buy in Dynasty or Fantasy. Good luck there. Especially right now in the middle of the season. Good luck. However, if you're not a contender and you own a guy like Derrick Henry, trade his ass right now. Move on. I know you might love the guy, but if you're not a contender, you trade him now, you get a boatload of picks to rebuild your team. The great part about Dynasty football, because even when you're losing, you're winning. Because you can move on and start building your pieces. It's a beautiful game. Beautiful game. Redraft, you're screwed. Just the way it is. That's why Dynasty is way more fun. Let's go to the Jaguars here. Trevor Lawrence, 23 for 33, 273 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, 28 yards rushing, and a rushing touchdown. Now here's where I start to get pissed off. Urban Meyer has proven himself to be a dumbass multiple times this year. In the preseason, training camp. Hell, now even at his own bar in Columbus, Ohio. I happened to be in Columbus the same night of the incident. And it was supposed to be a family night. Only not long after the family left, you're sticking your finger in young women's butts. Literally, finger in the butt. It's a move. Usually you got to go on a few dates before that happens. It's a bold move there, Mr. Meyer. Bold move. Especially for a guy that has 27 pictures on their freaking coffee table. I mean, what kind of kabuki theater bullshit is this, man? And then after the game, throws his rookie star quarterback under the bus. Says that Trevor Lawrence on that 4th and goal when they handed it off, that, he's really just not at the point now where he can do that quarterback sneak or read the defense. He doesn't have the confidence yet to do something like that. You kidding me? It's just Trevor Lawrence. The best quarterback prospect since Andrew Luck. Can't figure that one out? That's no way to stand up for your quarterback. That's no way to put any sort of trust into your team at all, which was probably destroyed long before any of this happened. I'm shocked there's not a complete mutiny right now. The fact that there's not a complete mutiny right now tells you Trevor Lawrence is a much better leader than anyone's talking about. Somehow he's holding that team together. Somehow, some way. I don't know how. Boy, it just pissed me off. And then Trevor Lawrence, they interviewed him after the game, and he kind of laughed after what Urban Meyer said. And he's like, no, I totally have the confidence and ability to do a quarterback sneak. You kidding me? Trevor Lawrence. Newsflash, James Robinson is good. 18 carries, 149 yards, 1 touchdown. If Urban Meyer kept his finger out of other people's butts and realized that guys like James Robinson have talent, maybe they'd win a couple games. But I digress. I'm sure he's a nice guy. Just got to get to know him in his fucking coffee table. Moving on here. Browns at Chargers. Another wild game. Wild. Browns lose this one 42-47. What does the NFL come to, though? When this game is coming down to the line and, Austin Eckler is trying to do the right thing. Could have scored a touchdown, tries to lay down before. Good, smart move. Then they got to give him the ball again on the 1. He's dancing around trying not to score a touchdown. And the Browns just grabbed him and drug his leg and body into that end zone. The defense actually wanted him to score, so much they forced him to score. This is like the high school stuff when you get, little Timmy Two-Tope there on the sidelines. You're like, let put him in there. They just let him score. It was like that. It was even worse. It was like they were carrying him across the goal line. Absolutely insane. Didn't work out, though. Baker Mayfield, 23 for 32, 306 yards, 2 touchdowns. I guess I got some shit about Baker here. I'm going to need to put this up. I did a little dive. It was kind of bewildering to me. The stat lines for at this point in Baker Mayfield's career is almost a mirror image of Jeff Garcia. Blew my mind. I'll do that so that next time I just kind of I should have wrote it down. I'll bring it up next time, and we'll go through the stats. Crazy. But yeah. David Njoku, however, 7 targets, 149 yards, and a touchdown. The dude's an athletic freak when he gets the ball. Yeah, I mean, the dude's a freak. They got to get him worked in there a little bit more, and perhaps they are, because guys like OBJ certainly aren't answering the call. The 3 targets, 20 yards. Just an absolute complete dangus. Dangus. No, I won't apologize. Dangus. Donovan Peoples-Jones, however, doesn't look like a complete dingus. 6 targets, 70 yards. I would be looking at him more. He looked good in the preseason. He ended last year very well. OBJ apparently is not the same guy he used to be. Donovan Peoples-Jones is trying to make a name for his law firm. Put him in there. Pick him up. Dynasty. Stash him away. Nick Chubb does Nick Chubb things. Second in the league in rushing. 21 carries, 161 yards, and a touchdown. Kareem Hunt doing Kareem Hunt things. Don't take it there. 12 carries, 61 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Justin Herbert, what's there to say? This kid's amazing. He's on fire. 26 for 43, 398 yards, 4 touchdowns, 29 yards rushing, another touchdown. He's a certified stud. This is his 11th game of 300 yards or more. That breaks the record that was held by Patrick Mahomes and Dan Marino at this stage in their career. Mike Williams has really blossomed as well. 16 targets, 165 yards, 2 touchdowns. It's real. It's real. Been waiting on the Mike Williams show to actually work out because so far everybody named Mike Williams that's ever played in the NFL has sucked. Not this one. He's breaking the mold here. And I've been waiting on it forever. I've had him on a dynasty team forever. It's finally happening. It's finally here. He's getting double-digit targets every week and producing. And old man Keenan Allen, I wanted to write him off last year. He proved me wrong, and he's still hanging on this year. 9 targets, 75 yards. He's just a great route runner, a great one. You can always count on it. If you're a good route runner, you're always going to find ways to get open. You're always going to be relevant. That's why guys like Hunter Renfrow are still in the league. Austin Eckler, again, like I said, being drugged into the end zone. 17 carries, 66 yards, 2 touchdowns, really 1, but 2 touchdowns. Also had 5 targets and 53 yards receiving and another touchdown. Bears at Raiders. Raiders finally looked bad. They've looked bad in the first half of every game. But maybe it was all the Gruden stuff going on. But they just didn't care in the second half. It was just like, yeah, we can't do another comeback. We just can't do it. Bears are like, finally, we're going to win another game. 20-9, Bears win. Wasn't really because of rookie Justin Fields. He was 12 for 20 for 111 yards and 1 touchdown. I like Justin Fields. In fact, again, kind of like Zack Wilson, if the owner that drafted him is shy, go buy him. Go buy him. For some reason, his cards have not come down like Zack Wilson's has, so can't really tell you to go out and buy those because they're still at a premium. But watch, if he does this again, they might tank. You can make a little bit of coin on the backside. Darnell Moody, with 111 yards, no one's going to have a day. Darnell Moody, Allen Robinson, you can't play either one of these guys. Until we see some steady improvement from the passing game here, you can't. You can play whoever's playing running back. Damien Williams and Khalil Herbert had days. Damien Williams, 16 carries, 64 yards and a tutty, 20 yards receiving. Khalil Herbert, 18 carries, 75 yards. Derek Carr took some damage in this game. 22 for 35, 206 yards, 1 pick. Darren Waller, 8 targets, 45. Henry Ruggs, 3 targets, 51. We need more Henry Ruggs. Josh Jacobs, 15 carries, 48 yards, and a touchdown. Okay, it was just bad. I'm not going to read too much into this. Let's see how the culture change affects this week, and we'll reevaluate from there. Don't put your eggs at all in this basket whatsoever. What else we have here? 49ers at Cardinals. Thought this might be a shootout. Boy, was I wrong. 49ers lose 10-17. Trey Lance, the rookie, getting his first start, 15 for 29, 192 yards and a pick. Did have 89 yards rushing. Looked okay at times, looked not okay at other times. Just first start, give him a break. With George Kittle on IR, They turn to Deebo Samuel. Doesn't matter who's at quarterback. They'll figure out Deebo. He's a gamer, man. The guy's a gamer. 9 targets, 58 yards. Also had 13 yards rushing and a touchdown. You play him regardless. Doesn't matter. In fact, the odd thing is the card market, usually they haven't been big on Deebo at all. His shit's going through the roof right now. I don't really know why. It's too late to buy him now, obviously, because this will probably come crashing down at some point. But I like Deebo a lot, especially in Dynasty. Grab him. Good luck trading for him because right now he's going to be at a premium. He's going to be too high probably. Yeah. Who else in this game? Eli Mitchell, the rookie, 9 carries, 43 yards, 19 yards receiving. I like Eli Mitchell. I think he's good. I mean, I think he's going to keep Trey Sermon on the bench. Now let's go to the possible MVP candidate here, Kyler Murray. 22 for 31, 239 yards and a touchdown. This is one of his least impressive games. However, they're still winning. DeAndre Hopkins, 87 yards and a touchdown. Passes Larry Fitzgerald for the most receptions by a player prior to turning 30 at 764. Congratulations, sir. Max Williams, yeah, like I said, his knee was dislodged from his body. That's not going to be good. The guy that's going to get targets because of that is Rondale Moore. 6 targets, 59 yards. 3 carries, 38 yards. He does it all. The more snaps he gets, the more he's going to be the clear number 2. I would pounce on him right now while you still can. Get your Rondale Moore. Chase Edmonds, serviceable but not spectacular. 6 carries, 15 yards, 4 targets, 19. Some games going to be good, some games going to be bad. And when they get down to the goal line, they're going to give it to James Conner. 10 carries, 29 yards, and a touchdown, as expected. This is going to be something you fight all year long. Chase Edmonds might do the dirty work, and then James Conner gets the touchdowns. He gets the glory, he gets the girls. Moving on to Giants at Cowboys. This when you put these two teams together, you never know what's going to happen. It's always a little bit strange, and it definitely was. We'll start with Daniel Jones, who was 5 for 13, 98 yards, and that was he also had 9 yards rushing before going lights out. Sorry about that, Daniel, but yeah, so that wasn't good. So Mike Glennon goes ahead and sticks his neck out there. 16 for 25, 196 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. Saquon, let's go some more bad news here. 2 carries, 9 yards, 3 ankles. Yeah, sadly, I'm done with Saquon and his 3 ankles. I'm done. I can't trust him in Dynasty ever. I can't draft him in the first round in redraft. I will never own a share of Saquon Barkley. Ever. Just won't happen. Devontae Booker, who I said to go ahead and pick up, 16 carries, 42 yards and a touchdown, 4 targets, 16 yards and a receiving touchdown. You know, he's got to be up there. He's one of the top 3 waiver wire pickups. You know, pick your poison, pick your flavor. You know, I'd have him at number 2, personally. Kenny Golladay, like I said, also injured, 3 targets, 0 yards, so it didn't do you any good. And then the youngster, Kadarius Toney, 10 catches, 189 yards. Also, headbutted his assistant coach and threw a punch in the game. So, there, yeah, you got everything. You got everything in this game. But you also had Dak Prescott playing out of his mind, 302 yards, 3 touchdowns. Dalton Schultz, I'm buying in. I'm starting to buy into Dalton Schultz. However, I'm buying in too late. 8 targets, 79 yards. CeeDee Lamb, 84 yards and a touchdown. Amari Cooper, 60 yards and a touchdown. Zeke Elliott, 110 yards rushing and a touchdown. Also had a receiving touchdown. Zeke's good. Amari Cooper's good. CeeDee Lamb's good. Dak Prescott's good. Dalton Schultz, I think, might be okay. Moving on to the Bills at the Chiefs. Speaking of things not being okay, Kansas City, what is going on? Bills beat the living dog shit out of the Chiefs here, 38-20. Josh Allen was 15 for 26, 315 yards, 3 touchdowns, 59 yards on the ground, and another touchdown. That's domination. Stephon Diggs, 5 targets, 69 yards. Could have been like 80 yards and a touchdown if he would have had any idea that there was a safety behind him. Kind of caught the ball and thought he was going to just walk into the end zone. Safety hits him like, oh, shit, man. Yeah, man, you need to pay attention. I know there's fantasy owners out there that probably lost this week because of that play. Okay? It's all on you, Stephon. Get it together, man. Emmanuel Sanders, 5 targets, 54 yards, 2 touchdowns. He was a good addition for Buffalo. Probably not for your fantasy team. I think I would rather have the stability of Cole Beasley, although he didn't do it the last 2 weeks. So I don't know. Let's watch this. I'm still on the Beasley side of things more than I am Emmanuel Sanders, but I could be completely wrong. Dawson Knox, 4 targets, 117 yards, a touchdown. I like Dawson Knox. He's got some chops, but guys, don't get carried away here. 117 yards and a touchdown. He had 4 targets. 4. He could have easily had 4 yards. They played the Chiefs, so he had way more. Don't get carried away. Let's see how this develops. If you want to stash him, go ahead and stash him. But starting him, oof, a little scary. Zach Moss, talking about scary starts. 11 carries, 59 yards, and a touchdown. Also had 55 yards receiving. I don't like Zach Moss. It's not my thing. Patrick Mahomes, 33 for 54, 272 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 bad picks. Somehow 61 yards rushing, which led the team. Interesting thing here, the Bills and also the Ravens. Both of these teams did this. They both figured something out here. They didn't blitz Mahomes a single time. The Bills did not blitz Mahomes one time. Drop everybody back. Yeah, maybe we need to start running the ball a little bit. That's why I would go ahead and pivot to Daryl Williams with CEH out. Because if Andy Reid's the coach I think he is, he's like, okay, they're not blitzing this because they think Patrick Mahomes. So run the ball. Run the ball, run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. See what happens against Washington this week. Tyreek Hill, 13 targets, only 63 yards. Travis Kelce, 10 targets, 57 yards, and a touchdown. Mecole Hardman, 12 targets, 76 yards. I'm still not really in on Mecole Hardman. Josh Gordon got in the game and got a catch, so let's see where that develops. He's probably not on your waiver wires because people get anxious. But if he is, snag him in a deep league that you got moved. If you get in a deep league. Redraft with only like 15 players. Nah, I want no Josh Gordon. And finally, the Monday Night Football game, wrapping this hour up. Colts at Ravens. What a fun game this was. This is a blast. I really enjoyed this game. Carson Wentz, 25 for 35, 402 yards, 2 touchdowns. Played a great game. Just wasn't quite enough, and that the second half was not enough. Second-year phenom there, Michael Pittman, 7 targets, 89 yards, and a touchdown. He's coming along good. If you got Michael Pittman in Dynasty, good for you. Hold on to him. I think it's going to work out. Paris Campbell, he's a guy you might be able to snag or trade for on the cheap. 6 targets, 56 yards. He's also maturing. Want to talk about a grown-ass man who's fully mature? Now, that's Mo Alley-Cox. 4 targets, 50 yards. It ain't pretty. The dude's gigantic. I don't know. He's a giant man. He gets to work, and he gets the work done. Mo Alley-Cox, probably going to end the year as a top 12 option. I would not want that to be my starting tight end, but in the streaming situation, pretty good pickup. Or in daily fantasy, trying to win you something, it's a cheap pickup. Yeah, it's not a bad idea. Jonathan Taylor, though, had himself a game. 15 carries, 53 yards, and a touchdown. Also had 116 yards receiving and a touchdown. And, man, he was shot out of a cannon on that, 76-yard touchdown. Just outran everybody with that 4.3 speed, that track star speed. Dude is an absolute monster. I would love for them to get him more involved in the running game. Because he's a guy that, legit, if there's anybody that can run for 2,000 yards other than Derrick Henry, I think he might be the last of the bunch that can get it done. Unless we have a quarterback rush for 2,000 yards in a season, and that'd be Lamar Jackson, who just turned it on in the second half. 37 for 43, 442 yards, 4 touchdowns, 14 carries, 62 yards. Marquise Hollywood Brown, 10 targets, 125 yards, 2 touchdowns. Mark Andrews, how about Mark Andrews? 13 targets, 147 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 two-point conversions. Holy shit, mind blown. I was getting blown out in two of my leagues, but I had Lamar Jackson and Mark Andrews in both of those leagues, and yeah, riding that train all the way in. It was a party. People going to bed at halftime thinking, oh, we got this, not by 50 points. Wrong old daddy-o. Here comes Lamar Jackson-o, sticking up your own booty hole. That's what happened. Now, there was talk this week about people trying to trade for the Ravens running backs. I didn't really buy it because I'm like, they don't have any. Latavius Murray goes out there, 6 carries for 17 yards. Taysom Williams, 4 carries, 6 yards. Like, I'm like, give me a break here. Devontae Freeman, yeah, right. Not doing that. So, yeah, it's Lamar Jackson. He's the running back. I wouldn't invest in any of the others. I'm dropping Tyson. Latavius Murray's never really gotten me excited. But that's it. That's all she wrote here. Get ready. Get your waivers in order there. Devontae Booker, Kadarius Toney, Daryl Williams. Those are some good ones. There's others out there. Maybe even a guy like Mo Alley Cox. Try to highlight as many as I could there tonight. But thanks for tuning in. If you think anything I said was absolutely insane, or you agree or disagree with me, down in the comments, bring it. I don't care. I'm putting myself out there. Obviously, I don't care. Comment away, my friends. And if you do happen to like tonight's show, please hit that thumbs up button and subscribe, and I'll be bringing more. The more love I get, the more crap I'm going to pump down your throats. Kind of like a college relationship. You know what I mean? Yeah, okay. Well, until next time, folks, have a wonderful time. Don't send any emails like John Gruden did. Be good people. Be nice to your neighbors. I had a birthday this week, so thanks for all the birthday love on all the social medias. 1 year older, and I don't think the wiser thing's true. But anyway, that's it, folks. Thanks for joining in. Keep your wheels spinning, y'all, and keep those beavers grinning. This is Max Sterling, and this is ZFG. Peace.